tuning into your newest Jassé in the Jeep. I let y'all wait a little bit just to give y'all some time to join in. I said I was going to start in 30 minutes, and I started in 39 minutes. So, or 39 minutes, just to give y'all some time to come in. So today is very interesting, and before I get started, I do want to say that I go back and I watch Jassé in the Jeep as well, like you guys, when it's over. And the last time that I watched, I was like, oh my goodness, Jassé, you really don't be having your hands on the steering wheel. What is that about? So I do have to apologize to you guys. Hi everybody, thank you for joining in. I do have to apologize. I talk a lot with my hands not on the wheel, and that is a problem. So I'm going to have my hands on the wheel, maybe one hand, I'll alternate. I will let y'all know there are very few people on this earth that I'm scared of. One of them is my mother, and the other person is my husband. So both of them were like, what are you doing? So I got my hands on the wheel. Second of all, when I look at the phone, I need you guys to understand that my phone mount is on the dashboard. So I'm not necessarily looking directly at the phone, but I am also looking at the road. So I know one of my friends was like, just drive, don't look at us. No, I am driving and I'm looking at the road. So James, leave me alone. I can still see. It's equivalent to looking at a stop sign, so, or reading an exit. But anyway, I will do all the safety precautions to make sure that I make it safely and that you guys get all the advice that you need safely and in good enough time. So with all of that being said, Jassé in the Jeep, buckle up. Here we go. So I received a lot of good questions from a lot of my passengers last week. Like I told you guys, I am trying to really find a good routine with Jassé in the Jeep. At first I thought I was going to be able to do it every day. That doesn't seem to really work for me, because I have to give you guys time to just really ingest everything I said, have your questions, and then I have to give myself time to kind of, get back into the mode of, okay, let me answer this. And I always want to answer truthfully, honestly, and with the purest of intentions. And so every day is really just hard. Like I said, I don't want to go on and ramble. So with that being said, got tons and tons of good questions to take me throughout the week. I'm thinking Jassé in the Jeep will be Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we'll see. So first question. I got a call from a passenger yesterday, and she was just saying how much my last Jassé in the Jeep really touched her. She was like, you would have thought that I sent that question. Like, it just resonated so much with me, and your response was right on point. And from that, she was like, well, I have a question for myself, and I just, how would you answer it? And basically, at the end of the day, the question was framed in a sense, how do you tell somebody that you're dating, that you're feeling them, and you want to go to the next step, but you don't want to seem thirsty? And she framed it from a standpoint of being a woman. She said, the Bible says, a man who findeth the good woman findeth a good thing. And she's like, can women be forthcoming to let a person know that I'm really feeling you and I want to take this to another level? Do I wait for him to say something, or am I thirsty if I say something? And she kind of spoke on the scene where Issa was in bed with Nathan, and Nathan was just like, how do I know this is real? And at the time, Issa wasn't even aware of what he was talking about. For all of those who watch Insecure, you know what I'm talking about. But Nathan was just basically saying, like, how do I know what we're doing is real? How do I take it to the next step? And so I told her, I said, I'm going to really think on it. I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to meditate on it. And something that came to my mind is my story of Clint and I. And so I always answer back on situations that happen to me. So if you know me, if you're my friend, or if you just happen to know me, you know that I had the privilege of dating someone else, getting engaged, and then a few months later calling off the wedding. And after that, I reconnected with my ex from college, and we started dating, and we got married, and here we are today. And the reason that story popped into my head is because after calling off my wedding, and a lot of people like to ask, okay, you called off a wedding, like how involved were you in this wedding? So let me let you guys know how real this wedding was. I had an engagement ring, I had a wedding dress, I had already asked people to be my bridesmaids, and I had already put down a deposit on a venue. So that's how real to me this wedding was. I don't know if he felt like it was really, really real. I don't know. That's on him. But from my standpoint, it was real. And when I realized that that relationship had to end, I had a very detailed conversation with my youngest sister, my baby sister, and she asked me, I can recall this conversation so vividly because we were together. She said, well, Jassé, what do you want to do? Like, who do you think you're supposed to be with? Like, what is it that you want? And I responded to her and I said, I have always felt like Clint was supposed to be my husband. And my sister was like, okay, well then call him. Like, she didn't think about it. She didn't say, girl, you just got out of a relationship. She was like, call him. And from there, I called him and we just started talking and talking and talking. But the reason why that conversation came back to my mind is because, in a sense, somebody could have said, or Clint could have said, Jassé was being thirsty for even approaching him in that sense. I just sent him a simple question like, do you miss me? That's all my question was. Now, back to my passenger's question, I want to say there's never a right time to know if you are able to be vulnerable with somebody and that they're going to be on the same page with you and say, oh, I'm feeling the same way. There's never a perfect time. That is just a level of vulnerability that comes with being in a relationship, honestly. You never know if the person is going to feel exactly the way that you feel. So with relationships, there has to be some leap of faith. There has to be something where you say, you know what, I'm just going to try. And that's for both men and females. I will say, though, you can't just shoot your shot just out in the open with no basis or guidelines. And so I say this to say, if you are dating a person and you feel that you're ready to go to the next step, there's some things that you have to evaluate. If you feel like, I want to say this to this person and I don't know how they're going to receive it. So the first thing is, there has to be some time in that relationship. In the beginning of relationships, a lot of times, everything seems perfect. Everything is new. Everything is great. And you're just going through the motions. And so I would hate for someone in a few days or a few weeks say, you know what, I'm ready to go to the next step. Don't get me wrong. I know two couples that met in a month. They met that month, and at the end of the month, they decided that they wanted to live the rest of their lives together. I know two couples like that until this day. They are still married. So I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying those situations are very few and far in between. So if you have that sense with somebody, more power to you. I would love to see how it ends. But for everybody else who has like a real life situation and has never felt those tense emotions with somebody, I would say let some time go. Let some time truly go to truly get to know a person. I've heard people say you should date somebody for every season. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't feel that everybody's relationships are evaluated on the same chart as everyone else's. What I might feel in 6 months, somebody else may feel in 3 months. or 2. So I don't think you have to date somebody for every season to determine if you all should be together. But I do think 90 days, 3 months, 4 months is a good time to get an understanding on if you and this person really click and mesh, if your interests are the same, or even if your interests aren't the same, that you both are invested in each other to at least learn why this person is interested in something else. So I would definitely say there should be time. Whatever that time is comfortable for you, if you feel like you know this person enough, then use that to say, okay, that's the first check. The next thing I would say is, how much time is this person willing to spend with you? Are they showing you, for the most part, are they in a committed relationship with you and has just not said that? Then that's one thing. I think that's very safe if you feel like this person, I'm stopped, so this is why my hands are up. If you feel like this person has truly spent time with you, truly makes time for you, enjoys spending time with you, then yes, very much so they could be going through the motions of being committed to you without saying this is what it is. A lot of times I like for people to show me versus telling me, because the honest truth is your actions will speak for themselves. And then, so that's the second one. What are the actions? Time, actions, and third, what is your gut telling you? Is your gut telling you that this person possibly wants to take it a next step with you? And you also have to take into consideration where this person is in their life. So this person might be doing all of that, and maybe they are not ready to take the next step because they've just gotten out of a situation, or they just gotten out of a marriage. They're doing all of the things to be in a relationship, but they just can't fully form those words yet. Take that person's situation and your gut feelings into consideration to help determine, can I basically shoot my shot? I see my husband just joined in. My hands are on the wheel. No beef when I get home. So that is what I would say. I would say let some time pass, assess their actions, and then follow your gut. And at the end of the day, there's no perfect time. There's no one size fits all. It's just really, you're gonna have to be vulnerable and jump out there. And at times women have to do that. I mean, men nowadays, I don't know. I always say, I don't know if I could date in this generation, in this day and time, because there's so many different rules to dating nowadays. There's you know, do I send a message? Do I like a picture? I don't know what any of those things mean. I just know that there's something to be said when you're sitting with a person and you're having a conversation. Everybody is being vulnerable and being honest with each other. And if you allow yourself that vulnerability and that time to take that honesty, just know that there might be a chance where that person might not say they feel the same way, or they might not feel that way at this time. And you're just going to have to take that. But how great is it if you really do just allow yourself to be vulnerable, and this person says, you know what, I was feeling the same way and I'm willing to take this next step with you. So I wish you the best. I hope you do eventually tell this person, you know, you're really, really feeling them. I have gotten the privilege of meeting this person. I think it's going to go fine from what I'm gathering. But that's my advice to everybody. Just assess your time, your actions, and your gut feelings, and allow yourself to be vulnerable. My next question that I received is, it's funny because this whole segment is going to be on communication. The next question that I received is, how do you deal with communicating after an argument? Do you talk, or after a disagreement? Do you talk about it right away? Do you let it linger? How do you deal with that? And for me, it all depends on how I am at the time. For the most part, when something bothers me, I shut down. I just shut down. I don't have anything to say. I might, be angry. You're going to know I'm angry. But I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet for a minute because I'm really going to see, is this person aware of what I'm feeling right now? And if they're not, they're going to feel it. That's really not the way to go about it, but that's just how I process being upset by my spouse or a significant other or a friend or whatever. That's just how I process it. But one thing I will do, when I'm ready to talk, I'm going to talk your head off, because I need to truly understand where this is coming from, why this is happening, and can we reach some form of agreement. And honestly, there's no problem with shutting down or being quiet at that time, because in my anger, when I'm quiet, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, when I'm angry and I'm quiet and I've just shut everything down, a lot of times I'm just processing and I'm talking myself out of things that I know isn't going to make the argument any better. So I'm really saying, okay, Jassé, what's really going on? Is this person upset about X, Y, and Z? Did I do X, Y, and Z? Do I feel like their reasons are valid? I'm going through all of these questions in my mind, just kind of like trying to really take down what has happened and really evaluate the root cause of the issue. So I start to just talk myself down. Okay, what's really going on? What's really going on? From the outside, I look hot as fire. Like I'm just sitting there, just stewing, but really, truthfully, in my mind, I'm just really trying to bring things down. And I think in any disagreement, whatever your communication style is, I would encourage you to take the other person's feelings into consideration. Take away right or wrong. Take away this person hurt me. Strip away all of those things and try to understand what this person has done and why they have done it and for what reason they have done it. And you can't do this with everybody. This is not something that has to be done with just somebody you dating for a few, like this. Take it away, because you never want to say something in an argument that you can never take back with a person that you have said that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or that a person that you have committed yourself to for a time period. So yes, and I'm struggling with this because there's no one size fits all. Like there's times when I'm upset with my husband, and we're going to talk about it in that moment, not in front of people. This is something that I don't do. I'm not about to have this argument or discussion in front of other people. I'm going to have this discussion with him away from the situation and just say, this is what's going on. And I never want to make other people uncomfortable if they're around when something might go off. So I do think if you're in that situation, refrain from just blowing up at that time, because you don't want to make it a bigger deal. People are embarrassed. People do things when they're embarrassed, and you can't take those things back. So if you can, give yourself some time to just process what has happened. And then something my pastor always says, don't let it linger too long. Have the conversation when you can have the conversation, honestly. And say say the reasons why you are hurt, and then also try to understand where that person is coming from. And at the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree, there has to be some type of level of, okay, this is where we are and we can move forward. I don't believe in arguments and relationships going on forever and going on unresolved, because a lot of times that's the same argument that people tend to have over and over and over again, and it can just truly be a downfall into your relationship. So I haven't been married forever. I've been married for 5 years. I'm sure I have older passengers who can give and speak more advice to that. I'm just speaking on communication in times of disagreement and arguments with someone that you love. Talk about it. Don't let it go forever, because what tends to happen is when that situation just lingers and lingers and lingers, now you two end up talking about the situation to other people start to speak negatively into your relationship, other people start to fill your head with negative ideas, and then now the situation is bigger than it is. So if you can, resolve the situation as soon as possible amongst each other and in love. And honestly, that's all I have today for Jassé and the Jeep. I thank you guys for joining in. Please, like I said, please ask me any question. We've gotten a lot of relationship questions. I'm not a relationship guru. Please, you can ask me anything. I'm also a pretty good dream interpreter if anyone wants to know. So you got some crazy dreams, send them my way. I've been interpreting dreams for years now, and I mean, I'm free. So it's better than calling your neighborhood psychic. I'm not a psychic, but I can at least try to help you identify what your subconscious might be trying to tell you. So at the end of the day, go hug your loved ones, kiss on somebody, and enjoy your evening. Namaste.